all started with a dream.
What Java has built upon very well,
But is highlighted by these pinstripes. It all started with the dream of a Czech motorhead called František Jeníšek. František, while serving in the World War I from the Italian side, patented over 60 inventions of different disciplines. Instead of starting from nothing, he just acquired the already established German motorcycle brand Wanderer. And finally, in 1929, the first motorcycle was launched with the name Java 500 OHV, using the initial first two letters from Jeníšek and Wanderer. And hereafter, the story never stopped. Motorcycle over motorcycle, year after year, many models were launched, be it the Java 175 in 13.1 or the 350 SV in 1939, or to the legendary Perak in the 1946. The success graph never stopped. The Java motorcycles even participated in the famous Isle of Man TT in the years 1932, 33 and in 1935. In 1960s and 70s, they even rocked the motocross and enduro world by securing 6 motocross world titles. In the same era, Java spread its wing over more than 120 countries around the globe. Finally, in 1960, the production of the Java motorcycles started in Mysore, India with the brand name Ideal Java Limited. In 1970s, they saw a structural change in the Ideal Java and name was changed to Yazdi from Java.
due to some unfortunate events which led to the misfortune of Java Motorcycles closing its operations in India in 1996. But to the fortune of man in 2016, Mahindra led to an investment into Java Motorcycles India, giving birth to Classic Legends Private Limited, which started producing Java motorcycles in India out of Pritampur and produced and launched 3 motorcycles in the year 2018, Java 42, Java Classic and Java Perak. Hello friends, this is Shahbaz welcoming you back to your favorite automotive YouTube channel, On Way Mechanic. Today we've got the modern classic, the refreshing Java 42 for you, and here it is. Let's talk about the engine of this motorcycle. This one has a 293cc liquid-cooled DHC motor which produces 27 brake horsepower and the exact same 27 Nm of torque. While I told you this is a liquid-cooled motorcycle, but a lot of people get confused, then why do you have a radiator here which has this loud sounding fan? I'll tell you why. The liquid cool technology cools the engine, and when the coolant gets heated up, it triggers an alarm to the radiator. Then the radiator does its job by cooling the coolant to a normal temperature, so it can go back and do its job of cooling the engine. This motorcycle and its looks have carried over a lot of designing cues from the original Java motorcycles, but with a lot of modern touches. What they've focused on this time is keeping intact a lot of classic nature of the motorcycle, adding some modern elements along with multiple facets of Java badging. So if you see, this motorcycle has Java badging almost everywhere, on the engine, on the tank, on the hand grips, and pretty much everywhere. When you talk about the look of the overall motorcycle, from the front is the old, very old classic look retained. a circular headlamp, which is halogen. It is not even LED, but I would have loved to see a LED DRL at this corner, like the Meteor. What Java has built upon very well is the color schemes. The color schemes provided on this particular motorcycle are very different. They've used a lot of English and pale colors with a lot of matte work. If you talk about the meter is inverted, which can be confusing for some people, but for someone who gets a hang of it, it would be okay. Then you have this teardrop shaped tank. And this tank is pretty simple in the looks, but it is highlighted by these pinstripes in golden color, which you can also see on the Java badging, which enhances the overall look of this motorcycle. Now there's a lot of classic retain in the elements like these round indicators, the tail light is pretty classic, the P shooters in terms of the dual exhaust, and the engine, the way it looks, a lot of chrome. So that retains the classic nature of the motorcycle, but if you talk about the ergonomics, this is built around a double cradle frame. Not a very huge motorcycle. When you sit on it, the seat is pretty comfortable. The rider can take it long for almost 200-300 kilometers because it is not too hard, not too soft. So the seating is pretty comfortable. Even if you talk about the posture, right, it is not too aggressive. It is not too relaxed, but it is somewhere in the middle, which finds the balance and keeps you comfortable throughout the journey. The only problem I had with this motorcycle, because I'm 6'1", at times when I turn, it is getting uncomfortable for me when I'm in the aggressive position of riding it hard on the corners. That's the only problem that I saw while riding. Other than that, I think the comfortable position enhances your exposure to the riding of the motorcycle. Talking about the shock hubs, at the front you have a telescopic shock hub. At the back you have dual gas charge shockers. And then the tires, to give it an elevated stance, the front is a 18-inch, rear is a 17-inch. At the front you have a 90 section, rear is 120. So nothing superficial, but still keeps the classic, intact. Moving on to the next set of features, this motorcycle's braking is a dual channel ABS with disc on both front and the back. There's a single disc at the front, which is 280mm. At the back you have a 240mm. The brakes are by Bybre, which is by Brembo. Now the alloys that you see on this motorcycle are optional. They don't come by stock, but if you have the option to change them from the stock spoke rims to these alloys. Alright, so finally I'm done all this talking. Let's take this motorcycle for a quick spin and see how it performs 0 to 60 and 0 to 100. Let's go. If I had to rate my riding experience of this motorcycle, I loved the handling. It is pretty slick and smooth. The overall weight of the motorcycle is pretty less, so that's another feature because it does not, make you wonder what's all that weight that you're dragging. Apart from that, the looks are pretty nice. So while the ride is okay, the looks give you glances. People turn around to see you on this motorcycle. About my experience, the seat is also very plush. That's another thing. So I think overall, it's a decent motorcycle. The only thing that I think might create a problem in your experience, given our roads, the ground clearance is very less.
It's almost 165mm.
And that's pretty much about it. If I had to rate the riding experience of this motorcycle on a scale of 1 on 10, I would probably give it a 7. And that's it. Let's summarize the pros and cons of this motorcycle. The pros that I think this motorcycle has, number one, it's lighter in comparison to its rivals like Royal Enfield 350, CB Highness. It is much lighter than all of them. It is only 172 kilograms, which gives this a cutting edge when you're riding this motorcycle. You don't feel the weight. Pro number two is the power of this motorcycle. While it's a lesser cubic capacity, it generates much higher bhp than its rivals like 350 Classic and CB Highness. While they're in the range of 20-21, this produces 27 horsepower. Third pro of this motorcycle is the looks. The looks are pretty classic, pretty different from all the other products which are available in the market. It is definite to give you some turning heads while you're riding it in the city. Number 4 is the mileage. The mileage is pretty decent on this motorcycle. Produces around 37 kilometers per liter. That's decent for today's time. Last and final pro of this motorcycle, the ergonomics are pretty comfortable and handling complements it pretty well. So those are all the pros of this motorcycle. Now talking about the cons of the motorcycle, first of it is not a very huge motorcycle. So tall riders might face some issues in terms of fitting themselves on this motorcycle. Second, because the ground clearance is very minimal, riding it on Indian roads can be problematic. And third and the final con that I see in this motorcycle, while it's a classic motorcycle, I understand the classic, styling elements, but they could have at least given LED lights on this one, which could have, matched at least the rivals' offerings. So I think that summarizes the overall experience that I had in terms of riding and the pros and the cons of this motorcycle. While it's a lovely looking motorcycle, let's get onto it and get going. This particular video informed you everything about the Java 42, and if you want to check out the arch rivals of this motorcycle, which is Classic 350 and Honda Highness 350, we have a video which gives you a detailed comparison with those two motorcycles. Check that out. It's available on the I button. The service cost of this motorcycle falls in somewhere between 1500 to 2000 rupees, exclusive of the parts. If you take the warranty is around 30,000 kilometers or 1 year, whichever ends first. So that's the pretty much service nature of this motorcycle. But if they fail to provide you great service, you know who to call, Onway Mechanic. So if you like watching our videos, click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you're always notified about our new videos. Give us some love. Tell us which one is your favorite modern classic. Is it the Java? Go do it on our comment section. You can also read about why you should be buying a Java 42 in a detailed blog about the Java 42 on our website, Onway Mechanic. You can find the link to that also in the description box. This was Shahbaz from this beautiful lake of Bhopal, signing off. Arey yaar, बैठ गया वो तुम्हारा कैमरा.